Are you coming back to school with me? We could have done it all so easily.
Hi, my name is Craig Thompson-Wood. I am your host on Teaching with Board Games, here today to talk to you about Iota by Gamewright. So earlier in this month, I had done a publisher focus on Gamewright, looking at their mandate, looking at their website, looking at just some of the games that they have available and how you might navigate through their website to find games that you might be looking for. They have a wide variety of educational games, and unfortunately my local game stores are having some trouble getting them in stock, so I'm still looking for alternatives to get them, preferably alternatives that are not Amazon. But when I can get more of those games in, I definitely will be reviewing more Gamewright games, or Gamewright, if you want to send any to me, I will gladly review them. But today is a look at Iota. Now, Iota is advertised as the fun game in the teeny-weeny tin. So how teeny-weeny? I mean, you may be saying, Craig, I've heard of games being called teeny-weeny before, but just how teeny-weeny is it? Well, let me tell you, it's so teeny-weeny that it's actually been here the whole time in front of you. You just haven't noticed yet. Is it that small, like microscopic? No, it's right here. This is Iota, and it is teeny-weeny. I mean, when I went to go pick it up, the shop owner, Maui, she said to me, like, did you know how small this game is? And I had no idea. So when I saw it, I'm like, holy cow, I think this is the smallest game I've ever seen. I mean, up until now, I think maybe Tiny Polka Dot was small to me, but this makes Tiny Polka Dot look enormous by comparison. And so yeah, a teeny-weeny tin. So it is a metal tin, which is nice feature. And for those who are unfamiliar with the game, it plays very much like Quirkle. Now, if you're not familiar with the game Quirkle, I am going to put a link to my review on the game Quirkle in the description down below, so that way you can go check that one out if this sounds like the one that's interesting to you. But to me, Iota is Quirkle to the next level. How does it pan out with this increased difficulty? Let me take it to the report card and I'll tell you all about it. So we're looking at the report card for Iota. I'm going to give the number of players a B. I give it the B because it plays between 2 to 4 players, which is exactly my standard for the B. So it's the B. For learning, I'm going to give it an A-. Quirkle got a B+ for me for all the different skills and things that it involves. And I think that Iota, like I said, very similar to Quirkle, but takes it to the next level, so it has to be just a little bit above. I don't know that there's so much in it that I would qualify it for a full-on A, but there's certainly, like I said, more than Quirkle, and there's a lot of great stuff in here, so A-. For fun, I'm going to give the game a B+. I think the game is a really fun way to do a lot of learning. It's one of those games that you're playing, and you won't even really feel the learning that's happening as you're playing, because you're just following through with what you need to do in the game. And I think it's, again, like I really enjoyed Quirkle. It's one that when school was on and we had a board game club, we would play quite often. The students would ask to play it. And so I'm happy to have this one now, and I will definitely include this with my board game club as well, because I think this will be also popular for those students who liked Quirkle as well. For time, I'm going to give the game a B+. I mean, it's one of these games where you can play for the full game if you want to, as prescribed by the rules, or you can just play for a certain amount of time. So say you only have 15 minutes, and you play for 15 minutes. And I mean, it's so easy. I mean, you just open the lid, and it's a bunch of cards. So, and each person gets 4 cards, and away you go. So it's really fast to set up. It's really going to be fast to clean up, because you just put all the cards back into the tin again, and you're done. So with the variable play times and the cleanup and the setup being so easy, I give it the B+. For cost, I'm going to give the game an A. I mean, for this game, one, I like the fact that it's in a durable tin, which really, increases the survivability of the game, if it gets crushed or fallen. But the cards inside are just cards, and they're not exactly, thick cards or anything. I guess because that'd be the thing. So they are pretty thin cards, and they could be bent or whatever, but just try and take care of them. You might be able to find card sleeves for them, but no, actually, if you did card sleeves, then there's no way they're going to fit in the tin anymore. So it's one of those things you're going to have to be careful, but this game is only $10 Canadian. $10 Canadian for a game is an amazing price. I think the only game I've seen that's been like this cheap has been like Love Letter. Cockroach Poker was another one. Those two games were also like $10 games. So it's very rare that you'll find a game that's so cheap, which is nice because then if you are looking to do something like this in a classroom situation, in a classroom setting, where you want multiple copies for groups to all be playing at the same time, then you can do this because for $10 a group, it's not going to break the bank. So I give it the A. All right, let me just take it to the table and I'll show you how this game is played. All right, so here's Iota, the great game in the teeny-weeny tin. Let's open it up and see what we have. So it takes a little bit of finagling to get the cards out, but there they are. So these are the cards for the game. And each player is going to get 4 cards. So let's just say I had a 3-player game. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So in a 3-player game, everybody's getting 4 cards. There is special rules for the 2-player game, so I'm not going to go into the rules for that. I'm just going to go into straight for a 3 or 4-player game. So in a game like this, every player has their own. So let's just say this player starts. So it says the teeniest player starts. So they have their 4. Now they have to put the cards down. It's like in into a straight line. And then the other players are going to add to whatever they start. So almost think of like a crossword puzzle where you're going up or down, horizontal, vertical. So when you're doing it, you have to put the cards down in such a way that they are 2, 3, or 4 cards in a row or column in which each individual property, either the color, the number, or the shape, is either the same on every card or different on every card. So I could do this, where I could do 1, 2, and 3. And so that's okay because I have 3 cards that are the same color, but the numbers are different. Actually, I couldn't do this because the shapes are different, the same here. So you're looking at the number. The numbers are different. The colors are the same, so that's okay. But here, with the shapes being the same, and that one not being a circle, I can't do that. So that one's going to come out. Okay, so that is that. So then this player would then score they'll score the points for the numbers on the face values on the cards. So they score a 1 and a 2 for 3 points. And then once they've done, then they draw back up to 4 cards. Then the next player goes, and so with theirs, they cannot add, even though it's a triangle is different, they can't put it because the 2 is the same. There's two already here, so in this row. But what I could do is I could go there. Actually, what I could do that. Oh no, because here this wouldn't be allowed. So this is where it gets, like I said, it gets a little bit trickier because there's all these different things you have to think of. In this one, the colors are different here, so that's fine. The numbers are different, but the fact that these two are and they're all circles, and that's fine. But the fact that these two are different, but then this one's the same as this one, if they're going to be different, they all have to be different. So there's 4 different colors, so it'd have to be a different color. So maybe what I would do in this case, I would take away the 1, because this way I'm scoring 2 and 3 for 5 points. And then they're going to take 1 more card. And then the next player goes, and now you're on your turn. You always have the option to pass, in which case then you can put cards on the bottom of the discard of the draw deck and draw new cards. Because if you say there's nothing I can do, then. But what I can do here, I can maybe do that. So I can add there because now these are the same color, different shapes, different numbers. So everything's sort of okay with that right now. So that will then give me 7 points there. That player takes a card, and it goes on. Still there. So I will make triangles, which are 4s, different colors, but all 4 triangles. Okay, so that'll give them 8 points. And oh, this player never took another card. Okay, and so on. So the game's going to keep going around and around like so, but what you're looking for to do, so let's see if I can make a set here. So we have 2, 3, so it's going to be tricky to make your sets work. So this, so we can put a 1 there. Now, because I have 1, 2, 3, doesn't mean that I need 4. So what's the color I'm missing? I'm missing a purple. So I need a purple circle 4. There we go. So it doesn't matter that it's, the numbers here say 4, 1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter that they're not in numerical order. If a person got this, you know, they put the last one down. So now they have the full set. This is now called a lot because they have all different colors, all different numbers, but all the same shape. So that is now a lot, and then they would score the 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, which would be 3, 6, 10, and then they double that because they scored the lot. Now, if you could ever do something amazing, like use all 4 of your cards in one turn, then you double your things again. So if you were to do this using all 4 cards, then you would double your score and double your score. So you get 10, 20, 40, I guess, according to the rules, if I've read that correctly. But that gives you the idea. So like I said, whereas in Quirkle, you're just doing shape and color, this one with the addition of the numbers, and now you're doing it just that's a whole new element that, like I said, takes it to that next level. But what's nice too is when you go through the game, just to make sure that you're doing things right, you have this reference thing here showing you what are acceptable lots. So where I had the same shape with different numbers and different colors, that would be represented here. So same shape, different numbers, different colors is acceptable. So that would then be an acceptable lot there. So you're just continuing to build and add and grow the crossword out. If you ever get something where you can put a piece which fits in both places. So here we have different numbers, same color, different numbers, same color. So yeah, oh, no, yes, no, that doesn't work, sorry. Let's see. We could do something like that. No, those are the same number. There we go. No, that's a triangle. See, it's tricky. It's tricky to figure these out. Okay, so let's see. So there we go. So that works there. So if I put, say I put this one here, so that is part of 2. So just remember now you're scoring in both directions. So here where I'm scoring, so I'm getting the 2 plus 3 plus 4 for this row, because here they are different numbers, different shapes, same color. But here it's different numbers, different color. So it works. So in which case, so I'd score the 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 9, plus 1 more is 10. So there's, you know, you can score in both directions if you are able to do some clever placement. So the full game is played until the draw pile runs out, and then one player places their last card. That signifies the game end. But like I said, if you are playing in a restricted time, whether due to class or just you have to go, you could always just put a time limit on it and say, okay, we're playing until people have had X number of turns, make sure that everybody has an even number of turns, and then you end the game. That could be another way to do it. So you know, there's nothing to say you have to play through the full thing, but that would be the official rules game ending. But that is how you play Iota. All right, so in looking at Iota then, like I said in the earlier review, I think this is the kind of game that you could definitely be playing in a classroom situation. I think this, with the skills that it's teaching in terms of your basic numeracy, your spatial recognition, your pattern recognition, there's a lot of different things you could be doing here. The only thing I can really sort of say I'd be seeing as maybe a potential problem with this is just that for anybody who's red-green colorblind, you're going to have an issue with the colors. There isn't any sort of symbols or anything on there. There's nothing to be more colorblind conscious and friendly, which a lot of games are doing nowadays. But if you do have somebody in the class who's red-green colorblind, then that group, or if you're playing with outside of a classroom, anybody that you're playing with in this situation where somebody's playing with who is red-green colorblind, then maybe just don't make color one of the factors that you're looking at for the patterning, right? Just make it so that it's you can do the numbers, you can do the shapes. You just eliminate the whole color thing, and then that just levels the playing field for everybody. But like the one downside to the game that I mentioned is that the cards are quite flimsy, so they could get bent, and you know, if that happens, then that's going to be unfortunate. So you just really want to make sure that you're taking care of the game. The tin does help as a protective measure to prevent that, but during regular gameplay, these things can happen and will happen, particularly if you're playing in a classroom. So, but again, that's then counterbalanced by the fact that it is so cheap for a game. So, and so, you know, one of those things you're just going to have to make the decision on whether that's for you. But overall, I do recommend Iota. I think it's, you know, especially when you, the biggest factor for me is the cost. So that even if you get it and you figure that, you know, what's Craig talking about? He doesn't know what he's talking about. You've only spent $10 on a game which you don't like, or you don't think is going to be applicable for your needs, in which case you haven't lost much. But I still will stand by my word and say that I think this game is good. Again, reminding me of a game like Quirkle, and Quirkle's a very well-known, very well-established game in the gaming community. So I think that it has that, with that kind of sort of heritage, if you will, being so similarly related to it, I think that it's already off to a great start. And I think that many people are going to enjoy this and will agree with my assessment. All right, if you are new to the channel, then what I'm doing is I'm putting out content on a weekly basis where I'm looking at gamification, game-based learning. I'm reviewing games. I'm talking about books about gamification and game-based learning. I am talking about publishers. I'm talking about ways to implement games into the classroom. I'm talking about online learning resources. I'm giving all these ideas of everything that I can find out about, that I can share with you, the viewer, about these things, because I just want to, you know, help everybody's pedagogy through this kind of learning. Because to me, I wish I had learned through gamification and game-based learning when I was younger, because I would have done so much better. I think that it's one of these things that's maybe not going to work for everybody, but I think it's going to work for a lot of people. You know, kids like to play, and so when we play and do the learning through play, it's just a great way to just be learning a lot of different skills in a more fun way and more motivating. So if this sounds like something that's good to you, then please do hit like and subscribe down below. It really does help. I really do appreciate it. And you can even hit that little bell button to get some notifications for when I'm putting new content up. But like I said, I'm putting every new content up on a weekly basis. And if you have any ideas for anything you might like to see on the channel, whether it be a game review or a publisher or just anything at all, you know, about games related, to games and education related, then please leave me that message in the comment section below. I do love to hear from the viewers, because then it gives me the kind of feedback that I need to know that I'm giving you content that is what you want to hear. And that is going to wrap it up for today's episode. Until next time, I am Craig Thompson-Wood, your host on Teaching with Board Games, saying thanks for coming to the classroom.
Are you coming back to school with me?